Well, hey there, happy day. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Have you got your heart in your mouth about your business because of COVID, due to COVID? Are you experiencing any type of extreme fear or terror about the future of your business, about what your business is going through right now? Maybe your business is shut down and you are scared to death about what's going to happen because you're not sure what to do next. Have your heart in your mouth is, of course, a very old expression. Homer used it in his epic poem, The Iliad. And ever since then, people have been using that expression to describe being really, really frightened, being terrified of something or someone or some situation. When your heart beats really, really fast because you're afraid. When we're afraid, our heart often beats really, really fast. And it'll beat so fast and our throat will tighten up. And Homer used heart in your mouth to describe that feeling of absolute terror and fear. And ever since then, people have been using that expression as well. I'm not super familiar with this expression. I don't know that I've ever said, hey, I feel like my heart's in my mouth, but I've definitely experienced the feeling and felt the feeling before. On many, many occasions. I didn't have any trouble when I read this idiom thinking of examples of when I have been really, really afraid or terrified of something. I think of waking up in the hospital after my sudden cardiac arrest. I couldn't speak. Could have been because the breathing tube was down my throat for over a week while I was in a coma, but it also could be because I was afraid. I had no idea where I was and what had happened, what day it was, or anything. I remember having that feeling the first time I got fired. Actually fired. I was called into the HR department on my day off, and I thought it was because the HR department, the HR vice president and I had been doing projects together, and I thought we were going to do another project for the company. And it turns out my boss was there, and within about 5 minutes I realized that I was getting fired, and my heart was pounding out of my chest. My heart was definitely in my mouth and in my throat. I couldn't speak. My throat was so tight. I was fighting back tears because I was shocked that this was happening. I had no idea it was coming. There's so many times that this has happened to me that I am not going to share all of them. There's things we find out and things we experience in our life that are just so bizarre that we are afraid. We're shocked by them, and we're shocked and afraid. We're not sure how to respond or what to do. A lot of people, I suspect a lot of business owners, I know the ones that I'm talking to, many of them are feeling this heart in their mouth feeling. They are terrified. They're not sure what to do. I remember even in corporate America, we always did contingency plans. Nowhere in our contingency plans in any of the businesses I ever worked for in corporate America, and it's been a while since I've been in corporate America, did we have if there's a pandemic, what are we going to do plan? We had flood plans, we had, depending where you live, tornado or hurricane plans, or acts of nature, acts of God or nature plans, supply chain plans. Now I think a lot of those are being tested and finding out how serious different industries and different businesses were with those. And if I think about my own businesses, I would have been prepared, but definitely not prepared to the extent I probably would have needed to be prepared. I would be running and pivoting just like everybody else right now, but not at a grand scale, because we did take our contingency planning seriously, and we did really, in the food manufacturing business, we had a lot of things and a lot of contingencies. And I actually experienced in the past where we lost suppliers and we lost vendors. So I always had doubles and triples and quadruples of things, and bidding every year, and just systems and things in place to make sure we wouldn't be stuck when things happen. Now, like I said, with this pandemic, I suspect even we would have been scrambling and moving on the fly just like everyone else is through this. Fortunately for me, I've been online for a couple of years, so it's just been more of the same. I really haven't missed a beat. Changed a couple of things about messaging and how I respond and how I react to people and how I help them, and the problems that the people I work with and serve are having are different. It isn't how do I really massively grow and supersize my business, although a percentage of my clients are like that. There's a lot that are, my business is down, I'm scared to death, what do I do? And those are easy because there's always things that we can be doing. So how do we respond? What do we do when we're afraid and we've got that heart in our mouth feeling and we're not sure what to do? I find the best thing to do in that, number one, is I breathe. I focus on my breathing, and I recommend that too, because we all need to breathe. Number two is I find someone to help. I find somebody that's got a problem, and we're all business owners, so we know that we're in the business of helping people solve problems. Guess what? All of the people that we have been serving or we want to serve have got more problems than they had in March, right? Do you find that most of the people you interact with feel like they have more problems or less problems than they did a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, or in March? Just weeks ago, right? It's just weeks ago now. Find somebody to help. Find a problem that they have that you can help them solve. Even if it's just paying attention to them and communicating with them, finding ways to interact with them. Think about the problems they have that they didn't have when they were coming to you because you're already solving them. My biggest example and my biggest personal problem, I hate to admit this, but is my fingernails, right? There are millions of women that get their fingernails done every couple of weeks, right? And they are in a position where, what do I do with my fingernails? And now that it's gone on to be a couple of months, the supply of the things that we could do to buy to solve the problem ourselves, because we didn't know how to solve the problem ourselves and we didn't have the knowledge or the wisdom or the information on how to do it until we got online and Googled it and figured it out, which I didn't do. I just had my daughter help me. I admit it. And now she's in Colorado, so I'm a month and a half into I need help. So I'll be figuring that out this weekend because I've got my granddaughter coming. But we figure it out, right? So we help someone. So there's always a way to help the people that you were helping before, or to find new ways to help people that you want to help, that you want to serve. Think of a problem or a situation or a solution that you figured out for yourself during this time. Just share it with other people. Just share the information with other people. That will immediately make you feel better about your current situation. And you will realize that you can do things, that you are capable, that this too, like everything else that you've experienced before, will pass and work out, and you and your business will be absolutely positively fine, if not better off than before we entered the pandemic. So, we'd love to know your experience with this terrified heart in your mouth feeling. Are you feeling that way? If you are and you need help, please ask. I'm actually starting a new free challenge on Monday called Get Up and Go to help business owners who are, we're all in different spots, right? Our situation is always unique and different, but to help you wherever you are to keep moving through this and make sure that you're better off after this pandemic and after this weird situation we're all experiencing than before we went into it, because you absolutely positively can do that. And yeah, even in a free handful of days challenge. So join me for that on Monday. I'll put the link in the comments below. Otherwise, have an absolutely amazing day. If I can help you in any way, just ask. And I will see you tomorrow for another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you apply it to your life right now? Take care, and I will be with you tomorrow.